I'm using African fabrics because A, I'm African American, and B, because a lot of black people in particular, say that we are the Bible people, and Jesus had to be black, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm using African fabrics to restate that. Okay, what would the people of those times have been wearing based on their status? If you were a wealthy traveler, what would you be wearing at those times? And where would you be? And if you were coming from anywhere in the Afro-Asian vicinity, what would you be wearing? So I like to introduce fabrics that relate to the time and the place. I just like seeing the references to things that most people recognize but can't put a name to. I like being able to identify it, so I'm a student of fashion, but I'm a student of all design. Fashion to me is closer to fad, but design is design, you know what I'm saying? This goes on top of that. Or is it the other way? No, this goes under that.
What did you say?
And you see a little indigo cloth hat attached to the Christmas decorations? Yeah. Like that I actually got in Mali in 1998. It was on somebody's head, and I asked him, could I buy it? And he sold it to me. In Mali, they're on zero meridian, the center of the sky. So at night, without electricity, you see stars like that. You see a field of blue with stars. So that's what all that indigo cloth is about, the night sky. But related to astrology and astronomy and the star, they saw the star in the sky and they followed the star. That whole story is the Malian African, astronomy tip. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Travelers, who were those people who traveled? They were astronomers. Because I'm not only within the context of the Christian faith, I can add other elements to the understanding of the Christian mythology. I believe there's only one divinity, one divine source for all life. There's only one source. I essentially believe that Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad and Moses and Akhenaten were all trying to teach the same message, but they taught it in the time and the place and in the method that was appropriate for their time and place. And we, getting caught up in the particularities as opposed to the commonality, get it all mixed up. But there's only one message. And the message is do unto others as you would have them do unto you, I myself am not a practicing Christian, even though I was raised in the Christian church. I'm a practicing Nichiren Soka Gakkai member Buddhist. It doesn't matter. It's an interdenominational recognition of the Christmas nativity story, told basically for the principles of peace on earth and goodwill for all mankind. I start in January for December. Every year I say, next year I'm not going to be doing this. The people who volunteer and help me, they all look forward to it. So I hope I'll be doing this for a long time, actually.
As you walk around the piece, it really changes in appearance. The angles change, the light has an effect on it. You see different combinations and you get a different perspective altogether on what you're looking at as a whole.
It lets you use your imagination. You can see a lot of symmetry in his work.
It sort of gives you the illusion that it's very simple. You look at the piece and you think you understand it immediately, but no matter how many times I've seen the piece, I always puzzle over how the space works, how the pieces come together.
You can find a tetrahedron existing perfectly inside of a cube. You can find an octahedron existing comfortably inside of a tetrahedron. The pieces exist within each other in both directions, so they share faces and points and angles.
It looked like a musical note, and I just couldn't stop looking at it. It was just like fantastic.
It's not mathematical. It doesn't take physics. It's a rapid forming of shapes and structures.
There was a wonderful quality of grace about them. They range all the way from, beautiful little pieces that you can hold in your hand to pieces that are, 10 times as tall as you are.
Privately, he's our good friend, and his mother is, and his whole family. But professionally, he was our tenant. We're the landlords of him, right?
Yes, actually, it could safely be said that Robin lived in any number of our apartments over about a 30-year period.
When I first started working for him, he showed me a tetrahedron, and I built a model of it. And I suspect it was so that he could decide whether or not I was adept enough with my hands to be able to create the simplest regular polyhedron that there is. Although it's a very simple form, it has what I would say vast implications. The cardboard models are Robin's sketchbook, really, and Robin was trained as an architect, and so he was used to building models, but when he started treating these geometric forms as sculpture, his idea was to fully explore the properties of the 5' geometric solids, the simplest of which is the tetrahedron. As he began exploring, or continued exploring, the 5' geometric solids, he found ways to present and investigate the solids by slicing them away to reveal interior structures, or by developing them in a linear fashion, adding one to another.
He had 500 little models of things that could become sculptures, that paper things.
He had hundreds of them. He started bringing in boxes of these things, and we started putting up shelves, and literally from floor to ceiling, every wall in the apartment was covered with his models, which he arranged with some help. And he had those perfectly organized so that in the midst of a conversation, if the reference was to a particular work that he had done back in 1985, he could just point right to it and you could pull that model down.
I have